Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm Manwara Ali, and this is my usual Saturday live show. I haven't been around for a while. I took a break, but I'm back. So today, I have been thinking a lot about trusteeship, and I want to talk about trusteeships and the benefits of being a trustee. Before I go into today's episode, which will not last more than maybe 10, 12 minutes, I want to quickly introduce myself for anyone who's new, anyone listening, anyone about to listen afterwards. You can catch me on replay and you can catch me on my YouTube channel, which will be in the link. Um, I am a leadership coach consultant. I'm passionate about leadership. I always talk about leadership and I always advocate leadership, particularly in women. And I'm also a CEO of a charity in Waltham Forest called Waltham Forest Community Hub. I'm also a director of Stowe Inspire, which is an organization also based in Waltham Forest. And I do a bit of international development work. So, those who are already following me or anyone new, you can find out a lot more about me from my LinkedIn profile. So, I advise you to go down there and have a look. Anyway, so I've recently decided that I'm going to hold two parts. So this is part one of two, which will be dedicated towards um, providing some insight around what it means to be a trustee of a charity. So, for anyone who's not aware, leadership within charities starts with volunteering. So, your highest ranking positions within an organization is the trustee board or the management committee. So, therefore, many people who are working in or charities might be paid employees. However, within the charity sector, it tends to be volunteering. So, where do we start? People who are very new to charities or have never ever considered volunteering within a charity, I would highly recommend and advise you to consider being a trustee of a charity because it is where you can make the greatest difference. A lot of charities, and I mean, I'm going into myths now, a lot of charities tend to have people who are retired that end up becoming trustees purely because that's the only time that many people can dedicate their free time and volunteer. And also, it requires expertise of a strategic level to be on a board, to be able to support an organization around the thinking aspects and thinking ahead and planning ahead and the bigger picture view does certainly require a lot of expertise, which many boards will have people who join come with all sorts of expertise. Financial expertise is a big need within charities at trustee board level, and often I have seen is the hardest thing to find. People that have financial expertise may not always have the time or they don't necessarily volunteer for charities or they don't see the benefits. So two clear benefits for volunteering as a member of a trustee board of a charity. Number one, it's a learning opportunity. It's a learning opportunity for you, and also it's a learning opportunity for the organization. And I can't begin to emphasize how relevant is to your own growth. So when you join a board, you learn so much about the running of a business, the running of an organization through trusteeship by being on the board. Obviously, it takes time and it all depends on how much commitment you bring to your role. But if you are quite committed, and the board is dealing with lots of major issues, and you get involved, then it can only help and aid your own learning and growth in that area. So I have personally learned a lot about business by being a trustee of boards in the past. The second difference is, I think, a benefit is the difference that you make. So the difference that you make is at a very crucial way of putting this is in the heart of the communities that the organization or the charity serves, because you are having an impact at that higher level, which then has a ripple effect on holding staff to account, supporting staff, and those staff members then supporting volunteers and serving the community. So, in a way, it's a very, very far removed way, or quite far removed from the actual service user or the people that you're trying to help. For example, if the charity is working with homeless people, then obviously you may not see the difference that you are making because you are quite far removed, but you are making a difference at that higher level because you're helping to drive forward and shape some of the thinking and the designing, and embracing what needs to change at that higher level, and guiding and driving the organization forward. And that has a ripple effect on how it better serves the community, how it has an impact on those homeless people, or those people, like, if the organization's domestic violence charity, the victims of domestic violence that organization is serving, you're actually making a difference there. So those are the two clear benefits: a learning opportunity and making a difference. And of course, you end up putting that on your CV. You also can, in many instances, request references from the chair, from the organization. That can only be good for your career development. So my first trustee role, because you might be wondering, okay, who is she to talk about being a trustee? My first trustee role was when I was very, very young. I started volunteering when I was 17, and I was 19, and just turned, I think, going on to 20 when I first joined a management committee of a charity. It was a huge learning curve. I have to say, I didn't have the same mindset I have now. And perhaps I didn't realize until many years later, upon reflection, the learning and the growth that I had from that experience. Because, in my early 20s, still at university, and I was a chair of a management committee at the age of 20. And it was quite daunting, but I was working along lots of other very supportive people. So teamwork is very much a huge part of working or supporting on a trustee board level. I wanted to say that there's going to be so many myths, and I'm going to try and cover them in part two. But I wanted to start off with the two benefits of joining a board, and also, where does my experience come from? So then, more recently, I am now a trustee on two different. I am a director of a charity, a CIC rather, as well as being a trustee of another charity. But I did no volunteering as trustee for a 10-year period after my last trustee role. So, my last management committee role. Management committee and trustee is used intertwiningly, but it's kind of the main same thing. Some organizations that are not constituted will have a management committee, and organizations that are constituted and registered charities will have a trustee board. So that's the difference. And they might be, the trustee boards are also those charities that are constituted as a company, limited by guarantee. So they're a company as well as a charity. So my role was a member of a management committee of the William Morris Big Local Partnership in 2014. And I joined, I think, in 2012, and then I was chair of that committee for a year, and that was my last trustee role. Purely because my children were younger and my commitments changed. My role within my workplace was a lot more demanding. But I have to say, like, if you're not willing to be committed in any role, volunteering or not, it's the highest ranking professional role within a charity. You need to be able to commit to that role. If you're not fully committed, then I would say don't take on a trustee role half-heartedly, because charities extremely rely on the goodwill of people like us who have expertise in a certain area and can give back to the community. And you can do that by joining a trustee board. So that's it for today. I'm going to come back next Saturday and bust some myths around being a trustee, because I think there's not enough being said. And of course, I love live streaming. I love coming here, speaking to people, and sharing my own experience. But just a caveat, whatever I'm sharing is based on my own experience. And just in case there was any doubt, I am not in any way suggesting, just because I'm sharing my own personal experience, that others have any less knowledge, or there are not many other experts out there who know a lot more than I do. And so I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that I know everything about being a trustee. However, I want to share my own experience in case it encourages you, or anybody you know, to join a trustee board of a charity and really provide the organizations, the businesses, that kind of support, because sometimes you don't realize how you can make a difference. And I feel like, based on my own experience, I can only share the difference I know I felt I made, and I know that you can too. So have a great Saturday. Till next